Hello, welcome back. Mike from Canavan Wealth. It is almost August. This is the video form of my monthly note that I send out to all my clients. So let's jump into the markets. Looking at the S&P 500 here, up about 3% for the month. Really great. The NASDAQ outperforming as usual, up around 4%. But I think the real news has really been the Dow this month, which kept pace with the S&P 500, something it hasn't done for a while. We actually went through a 13-day winning streak on the Dow, which is a record that goes back to 1987. If it had gone just one more day, it actually would have been dated back to the 1890s. And another day past that would have been the all-time high. Didn't quite get this. Now, normally, such a long streak on the stock market would make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But I actually saw this as really great kind of indication from the market in that the Dow was keeping up with the growth sectors. For the last few years, we've seen the same story repeated, which is most of the growth in the market has been from a very limited number of typically tech companies that kind of lead the S&P and the NASDAQ, and the rest of the market, like mid-cap and some of the sectors, have been kind of left behind. The Dow is usually a pretty good indicator for some of those left behind sectors. So to see it catching up is actually a pretty healthy sign in that it seems that many of the markets are kind of catching up with some of the stocks that did so well early on in the year. Of course, other big news in the month was undeniably the consumer price index data, along with the Fed's actions to continue to raise interest rates. So inflation dropped all the way to 3%. We've got a graph here in a minute. And core even dropped to 4.8, down from like 5.2 or 5.3, almost a 0.5% drop. This beat all expectations, and so did inflation. So here's a graph for inflation. You've seen it coming down, but it has kind of stalled out some of these months. And there was some concern, myself included, that inflation would level out around the 4 to 5% mark. And we really didn't see that continue to drop. And even signs after this are pointing that inflation is going to continue to come down. This is one of the things that we needed in order to really, I think, kind of come through the last year and a half of this market downturn. And the other one is that we needed indications out of the Fed that they were, in fact, done with raising interest rates. Now, they did raise them 0.25%, but that was pretty well understood and expected. And they have indicated that there is a possibility for another 0.25% raise by the end of the year. However, there's a lot of indications that they are going to kind of level off, to stop raising after that. And the bond market and most investors think that sometime next year we will start to get to lowering interest rates. How quickly the Fed will get to there, or whether they will get to their stated goal of getting interest rates, the Fed fund rate specifically, below 2%, only time will tell. But a year from now, we could be right back into a dropping interest rate environment. So those were kind of the big news around interest and inflation. In the note, I talk about changes to how we're going to be scheduling monthly appointments. So to make a very long story short, when we used to be at Waddell and Reed, they had one system for how we needed to conduct or annual appointments. Here at LPL, it's a little different. We tried to kind of continue the system we had at Waddell and Reed when we came to LPL 4 years ago, but that's become more and more challenging with the way LPL sets it up. The short version is LPL, if you, let's say, had an appointment December 5th, you are required to have another annual appointment before December 5th of the next year. It's not like a calendar year. You just have to have it done in 2022 or 2023. Theirs is very specifically has to be done within 12 months of your last one, which anyone with any experience of scheduling appointments with a very large number of people knows that you really need to get started on that several months before it's due. So how we do it here now is that 4 months out from your appointment, Lynn will send you a pleasant email. Lynn is my office manager that just says, you're due for an appointment, you can please schedule it. She provides the link for our online thing, which is also in the signature of all my emails and on the website. You can also just reply to the email or give Lynn a call to set up an appointment. We can do Zoom calls, phone calls, and for my local clients, come into the office here in Idaho Falls. And then at 3 months out and again at 2 months out, she'll start calling to try and set that appointment. And if it gets to 1 month out, then I'll start calling in hopes of setting the appointment or just doing it over the phone. This is the process where we try not to pester our clients too much. We know you're busy, but we also need to, try a couple of different times to get you scheduled into the office to do your appointments. As for me, it has been a very hectic summer. My son gets back in a week from his kind of mini boot camp that he's been doing for his Navy ROTC scholarship, and we're very excited to have him back. My daughter did summer orientation. For those who don't know, I have twins. They're both headed off to college this year. They'll be back. We've got a quick graduation party for them, and then we will be getting my son off to Moscow, Idaho, which, even though it's an in-state school, is like a 9 to 10 hour drive from here because all of the central Idaho is barren mountains. And then my daughter will be getting her off to her school in New York, SUNY Cobleskill. So there is going to be quite a few days that I will be out of the office driving, but we will be operating as normally. You can always get a hold of me from the office phone. Will ring through to my cell phone. Lynn will be here in the office, and we've got plenty of time available for getting appointments in. So it's been a great month, and I will hope to talk to you soon. Thanks.